Hey everybody, Jim Malone here. Come on, Dallas trading floor. Well, it's Friday, and the market it was up earlier. It's pulled back a little bit. Kind of just I don't know kind of where it's going, but it does seem to be a little bit. I don't know, a little schizophrenic. What I've been doing today is I've been selling some of my winners into earnings. Sold I sold Microsoft today, and I have been buying Tesla, and Tesla is right at a buy. That might be of interest to some people out there. Basically, we're in a confirmed uptrend, which indeed is a very good thing. I mean, we are in that confirmed uptrend, and so it's looking good. Um, and I hope that this will make it so that we can move up even higher. So we're in a confirmed uptrend. We want to come out of cash, and we want to move into we want to move into the into the stuff that is setting up. And there's some really good setups right now. Even though the market today a little bit not so much pulled back. Um, Want to show you a very very interesting one. This is the Trump SPAC. Um, and I don't know what to do with this. I'm not in this one yet. Digital World Acquisition Corporation. It's the Trump stack. It's off a little bit after hours. I want to look at this one really closely next week. Uh, but right now, it moved up very fast, and it's pulling back a little bit after hours. It's down about $7 after hours, but the volume is just remarkable. It's 302%. Amazing, up $45. Just, don't know what to deal with it. Don't know what to do with this one right yet, but it's looking very interesting. So, just hang on and let's see. Let's see where let's see where it's going. I mean, let's see where this one. Let's see where this one is going. So, very interesting. Then I'm not in it, but boy, I think there's an opportunity here, and I want to kind of see how it plays out. So I'll be watching this one. I'll be watching this one for next week, and I think hopefully it'll be doing real. We'll see. Just wanted to show you one that I am definitely moving into. It's Tesla, and of course Tesla. There was a buy point at 900 on Tesla. Can you believe that? $900. Wow! But my chart reading says, and I don't know if it's right, but my chart reading basically says that hey, at $900, that's where we can start coming back into Tesla. I mean, it may be based on this composite rating of 98 and the volume that's up and everything on this. We may be at a situation here very soon where we have you know we have a $1,300 stock. I don't know if that's going to be the case, but I've been selling other shares to make room for Tesla. I've been waiting almost a year now to get back into it, and finally, it's at a higher high, and this $900 level is a very, very key level. I did buy a little bit before this, but I've been adding to my position in several portfolios. So I've been selling Microsoft, which has done well. It's coming into earnings. I'm probably gonna be selling AMD next week, right before earnings. I've done well with AMD, but I really like the action on Tesla. We'll see if this is right. I mean, I could be all wet on this, but it does appear that this is giving us an opportunity to get back into Tesla, which I think is truly a great stock. Now, I want to show you the small portfolio allocation. Now, this isn't everything I have, but this shows you my model portfolio and kind of what I've been buying in here. As I say, I just bought Tesla in here. I did sell Microsoft. I've got EOG Resources. This is an oil company. AMD, of course. I may be selling AMD on Monday to make room for more Tesla. I'm probably going to do at least two full positions. And what do I mean by positions? Well, think of your portfolio as a pizza. And this is kind of how I think of it. And it has eight full positions, basically about 12.5% for each one. And this is how you kind of want to allocate it. So if a stock is coming up to a buy point, you want to come in maybe up to one full position, but then as it passes it, you might want to come in with two. You don't probably want to expose more than about a position to more than about two or three pizza slices here, or full positions. Three full positions is pretty much where I stop, unless I just have extreme conviction, and that might be the case with Tesla. We'll see, but that's how you come into it, and that's sort of where I'm in. This Ternium here, this is a steel company. Lending Club, I have a lot of Lending Club, and I may cut down on this one off a little bit. I really like the story on this one and the technicals. And of course, remember you're buying on technicals as well as fundamentals. And fundamentals, of course, is what industry they're in, how if they're profitable, that kind of thing. The technicals are how the charts look. So you buy on technicals and and fundamentals, you sell on technicals. So if something violates, if it goes down more than 7% from where you bought it, you immediately sell it, even though it may be the greatest story in the world. Just that's if you do this and you sell at 7%, never take more than try to take more than 7% loss. You're going to be doing great. So, anyways, Lending Club. This one is basically it's like they use AI to calculate lending, you know, to calculate. It's kind of like Equifax stuff like that to make lending decisions. So I do think this is how it's going in some of the smaller lending. I think gonna see this in the future. We're gonna see a lot of this kind of lending, where we're lending based on AI. So this has a real potential, I believe, in going forward. Here are the list of stocks that I own currently. EOG Resources, of course, that's an oil company, up a little bit today, not a lot. Salesforce, everybody knows Salesforce, symbol CRM. AMD, this is coming into earnings. I'm almost up. If I'm up more than 10% in 2 weeks, I will keep half of this position and sell half of it. If I'm not, I'll probably sell the whole position and wait for it to come through earnings because typically it's going to pull back a little bit on earnings. Ternium TX, that's the steel company, up 77 cents. Linden Climb, of course, is down about not quite 2%. Robert Half, this has always been a good one. Staffing company, biggest one in the world. Very good. I'm a little bit off on the Grayscale Bitcoin Trust. It's down 28 cents, not a whole lot, but it's still holding up very well. There's a lot of inflation fears out there, and people are turning to, people are turning uh, to Bitcoin. The thing about the Grayscale Bitcoin Trust is that they hold about 4% of the world's Bitcoin. So this is a way that you can kind of easily put Bitcoin in your portfolio. It doesn't track exactly. It doesn't track exactly with Bitcoin, but that's something that you might want to consider as well. QQQ, it's down a little bit today. Of course, this is the Nasdaq 100 ETF, and I do this for my ready cash. You don't see this in the allocation because I have taxes that I need to pay, like real estate taxes that I invest in this as long as we're in a confirmed uptrend like we are now. Fortinet, of course, this is a big computer security company doing very, very well. FTNT. I mean, I should have held this one. I had this one last summer. I should have held it. I would have tripled my money on it. Doing great. Fortinet. It's up $1.24, and I think it's really a class act. Tesla, of course, we talked about that. It's amazing because not only is the volume up, but it's up 1.77%, which for a stock this expensive is a lot. It's up $15.85. Did buy some CrowdStrike today. It's off a little bit. It's at a critical juncture too. Now it's true. I have two stocks that are in the computer software security area, Fortinet and CrowdStrike. So we're going to see which one of them does better, and then I will probably sell the other ones. So I did sell some of my Microsoft, and it's doing very well, but it is moving back a little bit before earnings. My plan on this one is to sell it, take the profits, and then see how it comes to earnings, and then probably buy it back. But it has a relative strength of 98, and it's still really kind of in a viable area. So that's kind of that's kind of the long and the short of it. And we need to get into the questions. So thank you very much, and I hope everybody's having a good day Friday. Let's take a look at what Samuel is saying. UPS and Hut, and of course Hut. I think it's called Hut. I guess that's what it's called. I'm not sure exactly what it is called. Hut 9. I think. I don't know. I can't remember on that one. So let's bring up the charts. And let me just get this up. Hopefully I think I may have solved some of the technical problems. I was having problems with the browsers and, well, a little bit of a delay there, a little bit of delay. So let's go relaunch those charts and here we go. I should be up here in just a second. So thanks for holding on for that. There we go. Okay, so there we go. Hut 1, Hut 9, there we go. Hut 9, this is the crypto mining play that is very interesting. Kind of want to show you the chart on this one. Thanks for taking a look. Kind of looking up there. Maybe I can. Yeah, there we go. That's looking a little bit better there on my camera. All right. Basically, it's pulling back, and it is looked like it is. It is. It looks like it is test. It's going to try to come down here, and it's testing the 10-day lines pulled below that. It's got a 99 relative strength, which is really good actually. Um, it's interesting. It's $11 stock, so it's basically. I think this might be on the list of the $10. This may be on the under $10 list. I did put out a list today for everybody that's on the that goes to Dallas Trading Floor of the under $10 highly rated stocks, and that's come out today. I'm going to be sending out probably on the email as well. 67 lists on the checklist, so that's looking good. It's interesting. I mean, a Bitcoin miner. This is just so strange that this would actually be looking decent. Can you buy it at this level? Well, I do think that the level to buy this at is right above this intermediate high, which is basically at $11.30. Now, currently we're at and 12 cents. So here's how I would probably buy this. Obviously, you can't buy today because it's after hours. But here's how I would here's how I would sort of approach this. I would set a buy stop limit order. So it's a buy stop limit order where the limit is equal to where the stop, excuse me, the stop is equal to the $11.12 $11.30. That's where the buy point is, and then the stop. The stop is equal to $11.30. Excuse me, and the limit, excuse me, is equal to the $11.30 plus 10 cents. So what this order will do, if you want to get into this stock, is this will automatically buy you in as it moves above that 1130. And so if the stock moves back above that 1130, then it will offer to buy those shares for $11.40. So that's how the buy stop limit works. And that might be a great way to get into this. Currently, it's in a bit of a downward trend. More than likely, it will bounce and it will bounce higher. But the question is, how do you get in at the right price? And you can do this with the buy stop limit order. So this might be an interesting way to play hot mining, which I wouldn't go in with a huge position here. I'll be honest. I wouldn't go in with a huge position. I just wouldn't, just because it's it's essentially it's a penny stock essentially, and it's going to be a little bit more volatile. But if you want to go in and buy this, the strategy I would use would be this buy stop limit order where if it moves above the buy point, which is well, this is a true buy point, 11:30, it will offer to buy shares at 11:40. So that's the buy stop limit order, and this might work very well on, hut 8 mining. So it's kind of interesting. Let's and see if there's anything there that we can find. I haven't been tracking UPS as of late, so I can't tell you exactly. Hopefully, a little bit of a bound. I don't know why I'm getting a little bit of a bandwidth constriction, but here's my take on United Parcel Service, um, and this might give you kind of a good look at it. I've drawn this reversal line here, and currently it's moving up to the reversal line, but it's still um, so it currently it's still in a downward trend. So we have to be very careful about that. So we want to buy this as it's reversing. So I would be careful with this right now, even though it's in this air transport, air freight business. It's 119 out of 197. So I would not probably be a buyer of this one. It's still in a downward trend, even though it's made a turn. The question is, can it turn above that reversal line? Here's the thing about it. It's got earnings in 4 days. So what I would do on this one, I just don't think you can buy this before earnings. I think it's would be not a good idea. So here's the thing. I think you first of all you've got to wait for earnings to buy this one. You just can't buy this one now because it's earnings in 4 days. So that means on Tuesday of next week, that's when United Parcel is going to announce. So wait for the earnings on this one. Wait for the earnings on this one because that will be the time you could possibly buy. I probably wouldn't buy this one just because I don't think it's performing very, very well. I don't think it's performing well. So my advice is, first of all, I'd wait for earnings. Second of all, I just think, I think you got to watch list this one and possibly, you know, I don't know. I don't know if it's gonna work for you. That's what I would do on HUD. So HUD 8 mining, buy stop limit order, and for UPS, you could probably do. You'd probably wait. Obviously, you don't want to go in, with both hands on HUD 8 mining because it's a smaller. It's a small vault company. So, all right. Thank you for that. Hey, Jim. Looking at Roku and Tilray. So let's look at Roku. I definitely like Roku. I'm not in Roku, but boy, I like the stock. And I've had a Roku for a long time. Originally it was part of, and this is very interesting. It used to be part of um, of Netflix, and it was actually from Netflix, if you can believe that. I mean, that I find is very interesting thing is that they were spun off from Netflix. So, and that was a while ago, obviously, but very interesting thing with that. So they were definitely spun off from Netflix. So I think it's still the problem with this chart. The problem with this chart right now, the Roku chart, is that we're still underneath that 200-day line, and that 200-day line is basically this black line here on my chart. You don't really ever want to buy below this line, and the reason why is because um, yeah, if the stock is trading below the 200-day line, then that means that that means that the capital is flowing out of this issue. So right now, the capital is flowing out of Roku, and you would think that it would be flowing in. Because I do like the stock. So in order to buy this, we want to buy this on the reversal. So the question is, where is the reversal? Where's the buy point? What are you talking about, Jim? Basically, the buy point's up here. It's at 462 on this cup with handle base. So what happened was, and this happens very, very frequently when you have these base patterns, it's a cup with handle, and then it comes up right to the buy point, which is basically, sort of the higher high, and then it failed. So it failed, and it's creating this long sort of cup action. So we're going to get another base pattern here, more than likely. So here's what I would do. I probably would not buy this one right now. I'd wait for the reversal on this. I would wait for the reversal because it looks like we're going to get another base pattern. So I would wait for the reversal. And so, watch list this one. And that's kind of my take on it because you really have to you really have to wait until this thing reverses higher. It's currently below that 200-day line, so that's not working good. Um, and it went up here and it tested the 40-day line. It failed at the 40-day line. It also fell below the 21-day line and it's below the 10-day line. So right now it's in a downward trend. Currently, Roku is in a downward trend, and it's right in front of earnings, 12 days in front of earnings. So you just can't buy this at this point. This is not a good. It's not a good enough chart, unfortunately, to buy it. But so I would kind of put this on your watch list. I would not. I would not be. I would not be a buyer at this level. I just wouldn't be a buyer at this level. Let's take a look at Tilray, and of course, this is one of the. This is the Canadian marijuana, Canadian cannabis stock. Um, Uh, the problem with this business, the way I see it, is that it's a semi-legal business. So it's really only legal in in a place like in a place like Canada. It's really not. It's really not all 50 states in the United States. So it's a very kind of weird business. Another thing is that if you've ever been to Oregon, which I love, I used to live there many years ago when I was a kid. Everybody and their brother is growing weed in the backyard, thinking that they're going to become millionaires. So there's a lot of supply, and there's not as much demand as you would. They're trying to do everything like edibles and hemp oil and all that stuff. But hey, I just don't necessarily think this is all that great a business. A company called Constellation Brands, which you probably are familiar with, they did buy a bunch of Tilray, thinking that they're going to diversify. Very unsuccessful with this. Unfortunately, their stock took a hit. So I am not very bullish right now on Tilray in general. This is a downward trending chart. It sort of made its high at 67 way back in February. So I just can't recommend this one. I just think you want to avoid just Tilray, at least for right now. I just think you want to avoid it. I don't think it's going to be. Uh, I don't think this is going to be. Um, stick to other stocks that are better set up than this one. I don't think this one. Boy, I just don't think you can do Tilray. Unfortunately, I just don't think you can. So that's really kind of how I would that I would be here. So I don't think you can. I don't think you can do Tilray, and I think you just got to take a pass on it. Really, that's what I. Okay. Well, a lot of people have been coming on TikTok. Thank you very very much. By the way, if you want to see all the charts that I'm showing just up here, and I think, do I have it on there? Yeah, I think you can see it. Yeah, go to bit.ly/DTF406, and that should give that should give you the charts and everything like that live because I can't do that unfortunately on TikTok it yet. I'm trying to work with OBS and a lot of other things, not as successful as I like. So if you want to see the charts and everything, just go up here to bit.ly DTF 406, and you should be able to. That'll put you right through to the live feed on TikTok. I mean on YouTube. So that'd be great. Let's look at the next one. Thank you so much. SPQ. That's interesting. Okay. SQBGQ? I don't know that one. Let's see. Let's see what the deal is there. SB SQB, excuse me. SQB um GQ. And I'll see if the no, it doesn't it says it isn't recognized, so it's probably on a smaller exchange that I don't have access to, unfortunately. Let's look at Farag. Thank you very much. Let's look at Visa. That symbol is V for Visa, and, let's take a look at it. Oops. There we go. Sometimes there we go. Bringing it up now. So basically, here's the thing with Visa. We're trading on Visa above the 200-day line, which is a good thing. We did sort of have this very, very early reversal. I tried to buy a position at 227. I failed it, and then I sold it. So I'm out of it, unfortunately. It did not. I was thinking we're going to get a much more, a much sharper V. It didn't work out that way. What happened is I bought it at 227. It went up and then boom, it went down and then I sold it, always. Now, when I come out of the box on these swing trades, I'm even more conservative in that when I buy it, I'll only let it run down maybe 3 to 4%. I have my stop losses set very, very tight, usually at the 21-day line, which is right here. So, unfortunately, I think this one is just it's a great stock, but I think you got to wait on this one until it makes until it makes more of a decisive move up. The checklist on this is okay, but it's not great. It's 67%. So I like to see better than that, especially in this market where we have moved from a uptrend under pressure I mean, from an uptrend under pressure to a confirmed uptrend. So I think with Visa, if you're down, I wouldn't sell it necessarily, but I would not enter this one. I would not enter, I would not enter, um, I would not enter, Visa at this time. What I would do with Visa is, I would just basically, wait for a better chart. And I think that's really just that's kind of what you got to do. You just gotta kind of wait on this one. Wait for a better chart on Visa. It's just not. This is not a good chart. It's not totally a downtrend. It may have, you could possibly say that it's bounced at the. You could possibly say that it's bounced at the 200-day line, but I just, it's sort of a failed breakout. So I just don't want to be in a kind of chart like in a kind of stock like that right now. I just want to be a little bit careful, and I think I probably would pass on so at least for right now. At least for right now, I would pass. I would definitely pass. Oh, here's a cool one. Here's a risky Trump play. Yeah, this is it. Oh, okay. This is some really good comments too, by the way. Let's see. Okay. I'm gonna come back to the XLE here. Um, Farouk, thank you for the. I'm gonna come back to that because that's an interesting play. Hi, any opinion on this is from Brian, Upstart or PayPal? Yeah, let's show this one because let's take a look. First of all, I'm in a kind of a compatible. I wish I had Upstart at the right price. I'm not in Upstart, but let's look at it. I'm in one. It's also a fintech. It's Lending Club. I don't know how well that's doing. I'm gonna pull that up. Oh, so this is the chart for, and this is clearly, by the way, Upstart is clearly the leader in this fintech space. Where they use basically AI to do a lot of the, to do a lot of the analysis of the, of loans, which has been a really a big deal. So I think that this chart, it looks like it's pulling back. It's pulling below the 10-day line. Not necessarily a problem. It looks like it may be getting some support at the 21-day line. if it can hold the 21-day line, that's this green line here that I'm showing. If it can hold that, then possibly you could come back in it. But the problem with this, the problem with re-entering this stock is that it's extended. It's extended. It's more than 5% above. It's more than 5% above the buy point. The buy point is 191, and it's at 300. So this is a very, very, very far extended stock. So you just don't want to buy it. I mean, the stock is extended, and it's when a stock is extended like this, it's just, even though it may be a great stock, you just don't want to buy it because it can lead to it can lead to problems. The thing about a stock is that you can be in the right stock, and if you buy it at the wrong place, if you buy it extended and there's a pullback, guess what? You're gonna get shaken out. If it pulls back more than 7%, you're gonna get shaken out. So this stock, unfortunately, right now, Upstart is extended. Um, it is extended. So I think you gotta let this bus go by. Wait for the next bus. Will be a good one. All right. Well, this is another interesting one. IIPR. This is a I think I think innovative properties. I think this may be the marijuana landlord REIT. See if that's right. No, let me see it. Oh yeah, innovative properties. That's right. This is an interesting company. Basically, of course, the problem in the of course the problem in the marijuana space, of course, is that many states they have restrictions on, because banks are federally chartered. They have restrictions on the ability to accept cash money, and a lot of the industry runs in cash money. So it's tough. I mean, there's not a lot of different ways in there. I was thinking initially a few years ago about and kind of an insurance play, but this is an interesting play. This is basically what this company does is that it is a industrial landlord. It's basically like a REIT, and they have spaces. They have grow spaces, and they cater to the industry. And so it's a it's an interesting concept. This one has done very, very well. Innovative Industrial Properties is right now in the buy zone, and this is truly one of the best REITs out there. And the REITs, as of late, have been doing very well. Now, many of the REITs I don't really like because they're in things that I think are, not that great. One of the things, office buildings, not like those. I don't really like even some of the apartment REITs, and of course everybody knows about the um, shopping center REITs. But this is kind of an interesting little niche area. The other area that I like in this is the companies that control the cell towers. There are REITs that control the cell towers for the telecom companies, at least the telecom companies. Those are good. Crown Castle is a good one there, and American Tower. Those are two that you might want to look at. Though they're not completely REITs. But anyways, this one is good. It's right in the buy zone. The buy point on this one, 553. It's currently at 559. So we're definitely buyable here with a relative strength of 93. So this is a good place to buy this. It's got a 100% checklist. So this is indeed, this is what you're looking for. Why buy something because we've got so many good setups right now. Why buy a bad setup? Why not buy a great setup? If you're interested in a REIT that pays that pays an income, a dividend income, because of course they have the rents on them. This one might be one that you would consider because, and I'm gonna show you um, the 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 chart here for basically, and I'm gonna have to look around the corner. Last quarter, their sales have been up tremendously. Their last sales, they came through sales, were up 101%, which is tremendous. This is their sales. So this is looking very strong, and 100% checklist. We're at a good buy point. So this is buyable right now. This in innovative industrial properties is absolutely buy now. So you could buy this, and I think be in a very good place. So viable right now. And what I would do, I mean, you could possibly come here with a full position, um, but you could definitely buy at least a half position here. And of course, what do I mean? What do I mean by a half position? Well, if you take your portfolio and you divide it into 8 pizza slices, each one of those slices is one position. So I think you could buy a half position or about a value of about 1/16th of your portfolio size, which would be about 6% of you could definitely come in with a 6% buy here. Possibly if you really are convinced that IIP has a good story, then you could come in with a full position, and that would be about 12.5%. So this is looking very good. This is a good place to buy it. It it has come up through this. It's a base on base formation, so this is good. It's at a cup, and then it's come above the buy point. It had another what they call a neighbor base, and then it's come up, and so it's right at a buy point. Uh, 93 relative strength. This is looking very, very good. So, IIP, I definitely think is one you could definitely, um, buy right now. I think you could. I think you could. I think that's looking very, very good. All right. Thank you. And let's see. Let's take one more question from um, YouTube, and then I'm going to see if I can get some questions from some of the other like TikTok and that kind of thing. Let's look at the entry point for Datadog, and of course that's DOG. That's a symbol on it, so I'm going to put that in there. DOG. I have owned this one before. I have not had it in a while. It's a good one. Datadog is a good stock. So let's bring up that chart, and hopefully there we go. Yeah, we have this nice chart. And one of the things about Datadog right now, unfortunately, and is there really no place to buy it? We had this consolidation base here, this cup without handle, well, cup with handle, and then cup, and then with handle, and then it just took off there. So it looks like it's moving right up the 40-day moving average, which is good, but it's just extended. I don't think you want to buy it here. I want to take a look at a few more things. You got to wait for the swing to base out again. Unfortunately, it's got a 89% checklist, which is very, very good. But you just don't want to buy it here. And the reason you don't want to buy it is this is the you know, classic problem that we always have, and that is this stock is extended. And what do I mean by that? Well, what it means is that it can be the right stock, but if you buy it at the wrong point, and that definitely is the case here, you just have to. It's just tough because it can pull back to to support, and support typically is the buy point. So here's the thing: I wouldn't buy this one right now. The stock is extended. It's a great stock. Datadog is a great stock. It's just not a great place to buy it, and that is key. That is very, very key. We don't want to buy it extended. It's just it'll lead it'll lead to tears. I can tell you. I can tell you that it will lead to tears if we buy the stock extended. So I would be very careful with this, and I would not be a buyer at this point just because it is extended. All right, let's see if we could get some questions from TikTok here. All right. What do you think about Litecoin? Well, I'm not really doing anything with Litecoin right now, but one thing I wanted to cover is the way I invest in Bitcoin. And it's probably not the greatest way. I probably should be buying with a Bitcoin one. I do think Ethereum has the better long-term chance, but I want to show you how I'm investing in crypto, and that's with the GBTC, which is the Grayscale Bitcoin Trust. And the Grayscale Bitcoin Trust is it holds about 4% of the world's Bitcoin. Of course, it's pretty choppy. It was up today, and it's been up. It ended the day strong. It ended the day strong. This is how I like to invest in Bitcoin. Now, I do have a fairly tight stop on this one. My stop here. Let's see if I can bring it up, just so everyone can see it. My stop on this one is 46.20. That's where my stop is. Currently, GBTC is 48.75, but it's up $1.30. Now, reason I said a tight stop loss is because this is so volatile. I just don't want to lose capital. So I want to get the upward motion on it and then move my stop loss up. And then when it pulls back, of course, hopefully I'll be sold out at a profit. Um, this is on the weekly chart. I'm going to go over to the daily chart. And when you're looking at a volatile stock, it's a good idea to look at that weekly chart because that weekly chart is going to tell us. So today, today it pulled down, it tested the 10-day line, but this is the daily chart. The chart you want to look at for a volatile stock like this is the weekly chart. So you look at it and say, gosh, Jim, I don't like it. It's pulled back. But if you look at the weekly chart, it's really doing very well. It's almost at the all-time high. And that would be right about here, about 60. So we have about $12 to go. And this is a relatively strong pattern on the weekly chart because this is showing that it's going to move higher. Now, of course, Bitcoin has been moving higher, and of course, the underlying this is 4% of the world's Bitcoin here, so this will also move as well. So I do right now, at least until the end of the year, with this inflation fears that we have, I am relatively bullish right now on Bitcoin. Bullish on Bitcoin right now. With some of the other coins, I think you got to be careful because some of them, it's this the question of how much traction does each one have. There are only two coins that I really trade significantly are the Bitcoin and Ethereum. ETRM, I think that's correct. There um, uh, uh, Grayscale, which has these ETFs. Let me see if I can get that. Um, okay. I'm trying to bring up the Ethereum ETF. It's let's see. It's ET. Yeah, there it is. Yeah, Grayscale Ethereum Trust. Let's see if it gave. No, it didn't let me. It's ETHM. There we go. All right. I'm just trying to. Oh, for some reason it does not. No, it just wants to get. It just wants to sit on that GBTC. So I'll come back. I'll come back to that one in a minute or two. All right. So let's get back to thank you very much. We did IIPR, very interesting. Oh, interesting. Here's a risky Trump play. Fun. Must be nimble. Yeah, I definitely think that's true. It's if you could sit on the front of the machine, you can make a lot of money, but just be oh, look at that. That's interesting. Marcus in Austin. I didn't know that. That's interesting. There's actually quite a few fun, companies down there. I was down there this summer. I go down there, pretty much every few weeks, just because it's kind of a fun place to go from up here in Dallas. But I went down there and I took a look at Digital Turbine. They're down there, and there's a lot of companies that are kind of interesting. But I want to look at this fun, yeah, because I was looking at this the other day, and well, actually yesterday. And this is a crazy chart. This is a crazy chart, but let's look at the crazy chart here. Um, you know, I think the only way we can look at this, you're looking at the weekly chart, it gives me a headache. So I mean, it just came, it was going along, and then all of a sudden, boom! It just, oh man, it went crazy. Funware, and it's got a lot of short interest. It's got a lot of short interest, so I'd be a bit careful on this one. I'm amazed that this is actually listed, to be honest, because it was just coming. It was down here, at about $2. This is a true penny stock, and then all of a sudden, boom! Look at this. It just takes off for the moon. The question is, what is the news? Why is this happening? Yeah, it's funny. I'm not in either of these. I'm not in digital. Um, uh, I'm not in DWAC either. I'm kind of waiting for, kind of the dust to settle. I want to kind of see, what's going to happen where this dust is settling, and there's no news, no news on it. So I can't. I can't recommend or not recommend this company. I can't recommend or not recommend. I just don't know. I don't know. I don't know this one. Let's look at AMD. Now I'm in AMD and I do like it. I did sell, I had to make a decision for the longest time. I was doing uh Nvidia, and I definitely, but AMD is got a better setup. I wanna compare both of the setups here from AMD and for Nvidia. But AMD is just looking very, very good on the daily chart. I mean, it came right above the 114.49 buy point. Now it's earnings in 4 days, so if you're not up 10% on this, consider selling half of your position, because the one thing I've learned about AMD is that you have to be nimble to trade it, because it can snap back like crazy, but it's looking very, very good. Now, as you can see, I usually tried to get in, and I was stopped out, and then I got back in kind of when it reversed. That's sort of where I got into the issue about 2 weeks ago. And let's see, I bought at 114. Um, I bought a full position at 110. So yeah, okay. So that's I'm up about 10. Okay. So if I'm up more than 10%, I will sell half and hold half. If I'm not up 10%, I will sell before earnings. And then I'll wait to see how it trades through earnings, and then I'll come back in to the issue. But it's looking pretty darn good. It's looking pretty looking pretty darn good. Um, so it's looking good. Let's take a question from Jordan. Thank you very much. Look at Oracle. Boy, you know what? Oracle is starting to come back from the dead. This my my brother, who will never sell a stock at a loss, by the way. I should pick out of school. He held Oracle, I think, for something like 19 years. He had bought it right before 2000, and then it went way up, and then he just said, "I'm never going to sell this. I'm never going to take a loss. It's a great company." And 19 years later, he sold it. I think he sold it last year after holding it for 19 years. Don't want to do that if you can avoid it. Oracle is right above the buy zone, so that's good. It's just slightly extended, not very much. 91.78 is the buy point on it, and it's extended just slightly. Now the question is this a good entry point? It's not the greatest entry point. I will tell you this: you want to buy it as it's moving above that buy point. That's not the case here, but we're close enough. Close enough. We're close enough where you could possibly consider an entry here. It's currently 2.1% above the 10-day line. Now, why am I talking about all this stuff? Well, typically when a stock is starting to move, it moves past the buy point, and then it will stay above the 10-day line. So this is not a bad place to buy it. The only problem is it's more than 5% away from the buy point. So it's a little bit extended, not bad. So if you want to buy this, I would recommend buying this here. You probably want to buy it relatively quickly, because if it moves up too much further, then we will be in a situation where it's extended. Right now it's technically extended, but it's very, very but it's relatively close. It's like 6% with from the buy point, so it's not extended really. This is a good stock, and it's got a nice chart pattern. It's come off of this consolidation here, and it's aligned very, very well. It's above the 200-day line. It's above that 40-day line. It's above the 21-day line, and more importantly, it's touched the 10-day line, and it's moving above the 10-day line. So I think based on the daily chart, you could buy this here. You could definitely buy this here. I'm switching over to the monthly chart, I mean the weekly chart, so that you can kind of see sort of how nice this has just been. I mean, it's just been nicely moving up, very nice, slow and steady wins the race, and it's a good stock. It's a good stock. So here's what I would say on Oracle. I definitely think you can buy it here. I definitely think this is absolutely viable. It's at least viable at a minimum of a half position. It's at least viable with a half position, and you might even go in higher than this. But I definitely think it's viable with a half position. Looking very good, at least on Friday today. So I think that's a very nice I think that's a very nice stock, and, they've got some good earnings. They've just come through earnings. Their earnings were strong, they were up. So I think we have a nice runway with Oracle. I think it's not a bad place to buy it, and, I think you could do very, very, very well, with that. Okay, thank you very much. It's interesting. Mark is saying, and thanks for the took off with TWAC. That's really interesting. Um, it is the better play if you want to play warrants. Yeah, I'm going to look at it over the weekend. But I'm not right now. I'm taking kind of a wait see attitude on it. So I'm taking kind of a wait see attitude on it. So hey, this is not a bad strategy, by the way, for everyone out there. AMD is definitely in support and looking to take some puts, and that might be very good. I mean, there might be some money to be made on puts. I would recommend for the people that aren't quite as experienced as Mark, maybe a spread, a put spread. That way, you can limit your potential loss, especially if you're buying puts that are close and that have expirations that are very very tight. So, I'd kind of recommend. I kind of recommend that. But that's a very good that's a really good point that that Mark makes. So let's take a look at people that are dialed in from TikTok and see if okay. What is the new company? What is the Trump company? Good question. That is a good question. The Trump company, if you can call it that, it's not really a company yet. It's what they call a SPAC, which is essentially um, what it is it's a is it's just a pool of money that may be merging with another company, probably in the media area. That would be my guess. That is sort of that is sort of related to Trump. So, and it just when that information came out yesterday, it just rocketed up. As you can see, it's pulled off a lot in the after hours. As you can see, it's pulling down. It's all the way up here at 92. This is the live chart of it, and basically it's flirting with 80. So it's coming back down to earth. The air is coming out of the balloon. Now, of course, this is the after hours chart. So in after hours, this is not totally the best the best information because the market's thinner in the after hours market. I typically don't like to trade in the after hours market because of this, because the market is thinner, and you basically have to do you only can do limit orders and you can't do stop losses, and there's a lot of things that so right now it's pulling down. As you can see, it's flirting with this 80. So I would just watch this one. I wouldn't do anything right now with DWAC because it's just a good time to watch this one and really just do it that way, is to just watch this one. As you can see, there's just not enough time with this one. Now we're looking at the weekly chart, but even if you go to the daily chart, this is just like this has just come right out of the chute. This is not typically I like to be in to take a look at the chart on an IPO of at least 2 to 3 months, and this just doesn't have it. Now it does appear that there's been a huge volume, but boy, you know what? I'd be real careful on this one. Let's wait a little bit of time. Let's see how it trades. I would not be buying this one. I'm just kind of looking at the sidelines to see, you know, where where it's going. So that's kind of my take on that. By the way, if you're looking on TikTok and you want to see the thing like this, you can get your questions in. It's easy. Just go to this address. It's bit.ly/DTF 406. If you're interested, I do have a nice list that I'm putting out. I think it's a nice list. It's just the under $10 list. If you like to trade in under $10, this is a good one. It's all highly rated stuff, so I definitely like that, and it's very easy to get on that. You just go to Dallas Trading Floor, and I'll just show you what I've got up here today. But it's it's basically Dallas Trading Floor, .com, and what this will do is that it looks sort of like this. This is how it's going to look here with the free trade alerts. Of course, do sign up for our free action trade alerts. Super easy, just first and last name and a email address. Then, of course, this is the live feed, the Sal Trading Core number 406. This is the live feed today, but this is what I'm talking about here. It's take a look at Jim's highly rated stocks that are under $10. And I just kind of want to show you this one because I did put it together today, and hopefully you can see it. It's going to give you this little pop up here for your name and address, just so I'll know that you're in it. And then it's a nice little it's a nice little it's a nice little list, and it updates automatically. By the way, it's an online list that does update automatically. Has some good stuff in it, so you might be interested in it. It's the under $10 list, and it's free, of course. So that's a nice thing. Um, okay, let's see, Snap. Let's look at Snap. Snap fell off the cliff today. It's not funny, but it's not funny, but they did it just did fall off the absolute cliff. Let's see if I can get back to the right one here. Oh, there we go. Okay, there we go. See if I can do that. Let's see if I should be. Sometimes sometimes I get this where I yeah, let's see. Okay. All right. Well, goodness. I'm gonna put those down, and so hopefully I can get back to the right. There we go. All right. So I'm back. I'm back here now. Hopefully. Let's look at that. Is an interesting one. So at least today. So there we go. Now it's working. SNAP, and this is off in the middle of the day. This was off about 25%. I can't quite figure out. I think this was uh, due to the Pinterest deal. It just look at that. It just take an absolute dump ski, and it just wow. It just went. I mean, look at that. I mean, it came through earnings. Earnings were good, but I guess that it was this acquisition. I've been stopped out of this for a while. I was trying to get in this one, thinking that it would move above that buy point at 80, and I got stopped out, and I have been back since. And I'm kind of glad because boy, it when it went through earnings, it just took a dive, and this has just been awful. And I can't quite understand why that's the case, but it is. So, this just shows you always want to have a stop loss. You always want to have a stop loss on it because this kind of thing can happen, especially through earnings. That's one of the reasons why I typically like to sell into earnings, just because of this. But this is absolutely why you want to have a stop loss. So you know, uh, you know, always cut your losses at 7%. Oh, that's Snap just kind of proves this point. You just always want to cut your losses at 7%. You always want to put that stop loss in there. As you can see, my stop loss was right up here, of course. And if it's a market stop loss, sometimes it won't trigger because it's after hours, but just always have that stop loss in there. Now it looks like we're getting some traction after hours market 55. It's up a little bit, but it's finding a floor. So this is, right now, this is not looking good. So Snap is not looking good. That's one of the reasons why I really, really like to trade with stops because I can't watch everything at all times. Sometimes it will come through and you'll just be down and then you'll just be sorry. So anyways, all right. Yeah. I think it's good. Staying out for me. Spec investors not happy. I'm sure they're not. Usually this is how it works. Yeah, I agree. I agree with you, Mark. You're absolutely right. Yeah, wait till too late and reevaluate. You want to look at the chart. I don't like to buy the new because I don't know if I don't know what I'm getting. I mean, that's the big problem I have. I don't know what I'm getting, but I like to wait a bit of time, see how it trades, and that's very very good advice. Well, it's come to an hour, and thank you everybody so much for taking a look at the show today. Everybody is going to have a very nice weekend. And if you do want to get on the action trade alerts, super easy to do. And of course, I showed you that a little bit of that, and that's it, of course, at www.dell's Trading Floor. So until Monday, and I'm going to be back. Oh, we have one more. Let's see. Oh, and thank you very much, Mark. So on Monday at 3:30, I will be back. I'll be back in the room, as it were, here, and hopefully so. Tell your friends about Dallas Trading Floor. If you give me 3 referrals, you get an exciting gift. It is the Dallas Trading Floor mug. Everybody likes. Yeah, here it is. I'm gonna show it to you. Yeah, there it is. The Dallas Trading Floor mug. So, if you 3 referrals that sign up for for the free action trailers, you get the Dallas Trading Floor mug. So, I will see you back here on Monday. Thanks everybody. Stay safe and happy trading.